Hello and welcome back to Tyranny. Right, last time we learned of a great threat coming from the north. The wolves of energy radiate from the spire, draw you forward, presenting your body and mind to its eager embrace. At a certain of the tide resonator stands now ready to broadcast your voice, echoing your commandments to the farthest reaches of the tiers and beyond. Turn to your companions. This probably amounts to the declaration of war against the Overlord. Are you ready for this? I knew we'd make our stand in the Vedrian well. I just imagined we'll all die miserable. Why would have predicted the Archon of Tears would save us now? Don't you have a gratitude display of magic to show the Overlord? I'm wet with anticipation. You're sweating a lot? Yeah, it looks great with his mask. This is new territory for us all. You're the first to strike a blow directly to the Overlord. Make sure it counts. Hope you don't mind if I stand back and take notes. By all the means, continue. You've done a great thing to get here. Just imagine what you could do if you continued this vein. Show Kairos what we do to tyrants. I'm ready to stand at your side and see it through. If I don't show Kairos my ability to cast the Edict in more than one time thing, the attacks will never stop. This will be an opening strike. Perhaps the Tears will conquer the Northern Empire. This ends with the Overlord's Eradicate passioned into the Overlord War Stab. I'm with you on that. The people of the Tears will never be left alone by the Archons. The moment we stop fighting is the moment we lose what we've earned thus far. There is an unknown edict. I don't know which one it is, but it's kinda bad that I can't cast it, and I'm sort of annoyed by that. Okay. Edict of Nightfall. The Edict of Nightfall brings permanent darkness to the land. Plants will wither, animals will sicken, and people will slowly freeze without a sun's warmth. Darkness pledges the region regardless of the time of day. The party gains bonus subforge and damage, while foes receive a penalty to perception, range, and accuracy. Foes are also blinded at the start of combat. That's a great edict. Maybe this is the one I'm gonna pass. Yeah. The Edict of Fire. I love this one. The Edict of Fire brings the energy of fire to large regions of the world. This generates incredible heat, sometimes flame, as well as straightening the powers of magic. Exhausting desert-like heat to withstand the region and dries up all natural sources of water. All characters that have their magic skills increase. The Fatebinder's party also heals a portion of frost damage received, and consumables are far more effective. Foes become fight-edged, have a penalty to quickness. Okay, this one next. The Edict of Stone. The Edict of Stone leeches magical energy from the sky and living creatures storing it in the rocks below. The energy can lead earthquakes and slow petrification of the living. A stone course pledges the region. Blood, flesh, and nature begin to harden over time, causing petrification and slowed movement. The Edict lowers the potency of magic in the area, weakens the Bane. We don't fight Banes now. The Edict of Storms. The Edict of Storms will generate a massive storm that covers huge areas of the world. The chaotic energy unleashed will cause random damage to strike your enemies during combat. torrential rain pledges the land, increasing the power of shock spells and lowering the effectiveness of fire spells. No, that one's not it. I think it's gonna be nightfall. We already casted the one of fire and it was a disaster, by the way. Yes, let's do this. Your Edict of Nightfall shrouds the northern capital in underling darkness, while some remain in their homes and beg Kairos for salvation. Those less hopeful make for brighter parts of the empire, seeking the warmth of the sun, and wondering how it was the Overlord could not protect them. As chaos ensued in the northern kingdom, the armies marching on the tiers received unprecedented orders. The armies were to fall back to the capital and ensure the safety of its people from the edict. For the first time in Kairos' great conquest, the armies retreated. Soon questions would be asked in a household bread across the land about what new and terrible power had emerged that could force the hand of the Overlord. You fulfilled Kairos' decree, and all the tier is now ruled by a single Archon. Your former rivals have either subsumed to you or perished, bringing the civil war to a close. Neither of the Archons changed with conquering the tiers. With conquering the tiers impressed you enough to follow their lead. You ultimately defied your orders, seeing a better way to gain control, eliminating every Archon who dared stand in your way. You carved your own seat of power in the tiers, keeping yourself independent from the Northern Empire. In their pride, the disfavored never imagined themselves beaten, especially when their opponents appeared so disorganized. Oh my god, I can't read. The last remnants of the Legion dispersed, their general destroyed, their honor broken beyond mending. The scorn that followed their humbled ranks haunts them even in the depths of obscurity. The Scarlet Corals may have been mighty in numbers, but that didn't stop you from totally scattering them, cutting them off the serpent's head, and sending each of the gangs howling back to the chaos. They showed how the remnants of the Horde occupy themselves without a war to fight becomes a topic for nightmares. Really? For nightmares? That means that no one actually talks about it, they just dream about it and assume the worst. Word of your success spreads beyond the tiers as well. Even the most distant corners of the Empire whisper of the Fatebinder who rose to become an Archon, and an Archon whose intervention shattered the conquest, making way for a new future in devastating nation. Without the authority of Kairos, Archons often force the Overlord's vision on the world. The fall of the conquest became a great renovation. Warring factions struggle for dominion and invasion in fact of daily life. Every group insists the situation is an opportunity for the tiers to rebuild as they see fit. With the Edict of Stone dispelled, the earth settled around the Stone Sea, and sharing new age of vibrant growth and prosperity. The country may never resemble the glorious realm of Azure, but with new life many new things become possible. The memory of Cairn, a great force of destruction, remains as a monument of inert rock. Most agree that the world is better off without the Archon of Stone, as the people of Azure begin to slowly reclaim the land that was once torn, usurped by his power. As the strongest and oldest of their kind, the death of Stonestalkers is a blow to beastman culture. Their demise also brings centuries of oral traditions to an absurd end. The local tribes never recover from the terrible loss. The death of the Radix is a huge blow to the disfavored. Without the support of a mage guild, the Legion finds itself outclassed for the first time and suffered on the battlefield. By claiming stanchial stand for yourself, your renown spreads across the region, and everyone comes to know you as the liberator of the country's most iconic fortress. That you claimed it for the pride instead of any tactical advantage is a point of contention which your harshest detractors never fail to cite in their long list of grievances. To save her child, Amelia abdicated her claim to the throne of Stewart. Lacking allies or mission beyond survival, she builds her baby close to set out to find a safer, less warlike frontier. In the modest anonymity, if the need arises, she is ready to protect the precious burden with her life. Though it takes time to recover from the devastation of the Edict of Storms, the Blade Grave begins its slow march toward healing. The realm of Stalwart may never resemble its former glory, but the land is not so blasted that something new and better can be built atop of the bones of the past. The Regent bloodline has ended. With it, new traditions and legacies spring to life. Following Blendon Mark's direction, you fought your way through the Scarlet Cores in control of the William Citadel and found your way to the Silent Archive. By removing from the building you were able to end the Edict of Fire, and also acquire an artifact of immense power. By taking the Silent Archive from its pedestal and disrupting the preservation spell holding the Valium Citadel in stasis, you caused the collapse of a single largest repository of knowledge in the Tartarus. The world may never know the truth except of the loss. Oh my extent. Give me just a sec. Alright. Though the sages persist in wandering the tiers and gathering research, the loss of the Valium Citadel proves too crippling a defeat. The scribes and mages seek opportunity away from the old home, a new refuge where they can start again, this time making sure that their knowledge doesn't fall into the wrong hands. By withholding the Mage Bane helm from the Lantern Crossing, you sabotage the city's protection against the Bane haunting its borders from inside the old world, sending the vulnerability in its defenses. An unstoppable wave of Bane invading Lantern's Crossing, working havoc and causing a catastrophic loss of life. The few ragged survivors abandon the city to the Scourge, never to return. Why didn't you return the helm? In fact, could I have returned the helm? You allowed the Forge-bound master to live as her life held no bearing on your greater schemes. With Ash dead and the disfavored floundering, the Forge-bound also fail. Having lost their main source of work, eventually their numbers dwindle to the handful of skilled forge workers, who only take commissions from the very wealthy. I will destroy those guys. I actually like them. By inciting the Edict of Vengeance Well, you announced your power to the world and showed Kairos forces what you were capable of. When When you defeated their leader, the scattered army before you, it sent a message to Kairos. A new Archon is born. While the edict, despite its effect, will always be felt as first true threat to Kairos' rule. The date of Graven Ash means the end of the disfavored. Without the comfort and support of the great general, what remains of the Legion sinks into hopelessness. The Archon seat is left vacant, and whether or not it can be occupied again is a hated topic. Far from this place of final rest, the Northern Empire mourns its fallen son. Requiescat in pace. Killing the voice of Narad spreads the joy of blood vengeance across the continent. Celebrated as the death of history's greatest parasite, the occasion is marked by all who suffered under the oppression of the Scarlet Chorus. Even in victory, one who nags you, though you witness his death, you can't help but wonder if the voice of Narad is done with you. He is more than done. With the death of Tunon the Adjudicator, the bastard city threatens to slide back into a lawless ways. Keeping the peace and imposing a new definition of order commands all of your focus. You learn to delegate and the responsibilities to a new court of fate binders, who lighten the burden and make the Archon's absence a manageable setback. The fealty of a killer like Bladen Mark leaves you constantly glancing over your shoulder. You gain a measure of comfort by retreating his skill as a huntsman, keeping him busy with assignments that take him far from your seat of power. As the spans pass, you come to rely on his knock for rooting out agents of your enemies, and sleep easier under the watchful protection. Thank you, Mark. I am actually glad you were not dead. Disgusted by your support for the Callous Corps, Varric excused himself from your company and kept himself at distance from your war. The most you ever hear from him are the reports of a panic gangs who speak statue of living iron that haunted them across battlefields. To the best of your knowledge, he hunts to this day. May he rot in hell, you bastard! Verse finds herself adrift in the relief peace that follows your conquest. She returns to the field and seeks out young women who rule all commendations, imprinting her fighting skills to only the most passionate. Over the course of many apprentices, she follows the voice of Narad's example and forms a personal army, the Callius Sisterhood. Verse proves to be a strict teacher, and you hire her service often, confident that she would take any assignment were their blood to be spilled. Landry keeps a close watch over you, scribing his account on your deeds and accomplishments. In his tireless quest to fill the chronicle with history and knowledge, he follows you even into his twilight years, and together you learn much about the world. You pretend not to notice Landry's wanting strength, though you find yourself pausing mid-sentence to let his writing catch up. He recognizes your generous ruse and appreciates in silence. Ooh, dude. Ebb remains in your company, where she seeks out promising recruits amongst your supporters. After recognizing some obvious talent, she takes on a team of apprentices in a new school of would-be typecasters. Though she often jokes that the school is bound to fail with her at the helm, her students think otherwise, as do the many dozens of hopefuls who come begging for her tutelage. Okay, you mean teachings, I hope? Tutelage. After he defeated Kills in Shadow and sent her away in shame, she disappeared into Stone Sea. Several years later, she reappears leading a new pack of shadow hunters, ready to bring her line to glory she feels it rightly deserved. And I killed her, of course. Oh sure, why not? Siren glows silent over time. speaking little and foregoing her songs as she distances herself from your military. One day she simply walks out of camp and makes for the wilderness of the Tears. Rumors reach you here that Tyranny has occupied an abandoned mountainside temple, her vow of silence drawing a small group of respectful followers. You leave her in peace. That's not what I would do with her, actually. Yes, I would leave her in peace if she chooses to walk away, but yeah. I would seek a way to remove her helmet first. By abandoning your decorated career in Kairos military, you gave the Tears room to define the path ahead. The future will not be mapped by foreign ideas, or the will of a distant autocrat. It is only a matter of time before the Overlord launches a retaliation. You will be ready to face it. Without allies, the winds are essentially cold atop your spire. You await Kairos' inevitable advance, brooding over the decision that led you to this point. Though the Tears are a friendless place, they are indisputably your new home. Right, this was Tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping for a new chapter. They are usually 4, that's why I wasn't thinking that it will end here, but let's leave my final thoughts otherwise. Right, about the game's beginning. The game started pretty well. I have to say that I did enjoy the first chapter, though I didn't like the time limit. It really didn't have much more to do there, so it was well paced. The difficulty spike that was the first major boss battle, was a little bit too hard in my opinion. That's why I changed the difficulty from the hardest to, well, I first changed it to easy to defeat them, then changed it to very hard and kept it like that. But yes, I did like the first chapter a lot. It did tell a story, though the lack of choice and the lack of lore in this game especially was kinda problematic for me. The art style is beautiful. I really like it. You can see it right here, everything that you might like. The color's a little bit more gloomy than Pillars of Eternity, and of course I'm going to compare this game to Pillars of Eternity. There is absolutely no reason why I shouldn't. A game which I actually liked better than this one. Now, the main story was the main strength of this game. Everything there was just a side quest, in my opinion. That's how it felt. Unlike Pillars of Eternity, where every single character had a story, or should I say, they had quests for you, there were problems that you needed to solve there. And the main story was actually lacking there. However, in this game, there was no such problem. I especially didn't like that you couldn't create your own companions. I guess it's because that's how it is designed to work, but to be fair, I would rather have one companion with preset skills, but the one whom I can create and command. Like a pawn, if you will. The ones from Dragon's Dogma, of course, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, the gameplay. Well, I really did enjoy the gameplay. Not at first, but later on it just became more and more fun with every passing level. I just felt it becoming stronger and stronger. My skills developing, it was just pretty good progression for skills, I have to say. I do want to see more of this game. With all that said, it seems like a great adventure, and I think it has a lot of potential in this. Glare silently. Okay, props to Paradox Interactive for this amazing game. Also to Obsidian for it as well. I don't know what else to say. Were there problems here? Yes, there were. I didn't like the crafting system a lot, but it was sort of better than Pillars of the Eternity, but not by much. The fact that you could upgrade your items easily was good. Don't get me wrong. I did like that. Now the potions, though, the usables in this game didn't seem that great. I mean, you could go through the game without using them, and I certainly would have tried using them if it was on the highest difficulty. But besides the health potions, I don't feel like they were that good. The cooldowns were bad, I have to say. If you drink a potion, there is the cooldown, but you can't drink any other potion while there's a cooldown? Why is that? There were some confusing moments in the game. I don't actually recognize many of them that I can say about. And there were a lot of choices. I mean, looking at the storyline, what other choices can you make? Work for one of the teams, work for both of the teams, work for the tune-on, stay loyal to this guy, Kairos, or girl, I actually don't know, they never decided what kind of a person it is. I was hoping to see Kairos. I mean, I did hope that Kairos would show up, and it'd be exactly the opposite gender review. I had a lot of theories about him, and I'm pretty sure that they thought about those theories as well. After all, they are a creative team of a very good game. It has good lore. I did say that the lore was lacking, but it was good enough for what we got. And it has a lot of potential for expansion. The execution was great, and I have to say that I did enjoy this game, and I do hope that you liked it as well. I actually didn't fulfill my promises. Did I actually make any promises? Because I did remember that I made promises in Pillars of Eternity, such as I will kill those guys, will make a wasteland of this village. Oh, there's another thing I didn't like about in this game, that it was in fact good in Pillars of Eternity. The fact that in Pillars of Eternity you could kill absolutely every person you come across. It didn't matter if they were friends or foe. If you attacked them, they just turn hostile, and yes, that was Tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm gonna see you all next time. Goodbye.